Hey guys, it's Simeon. This is Wrestling Unlimited as we are here on the, what's today's date? 1st of October, 2021 to talk about everything that went down tonight on both AEW Rampage and Friday Night Smackdown. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, we're good. We're good. With that, we will kick it off by talking about AEW Rampage. That's the show we're going to get into first. I liked the show. I thought things flowed well. I thought everything was good for a 1 week show, or for a 1 hour show, not a 1 week show, but for a 1 hour show. And there's nothing really bad to say. I mean, the opening match was great. The rest of the show was all right, but nothing bad. Nothing bad at all. But yeah. Rampage pretty good. Smackdown thoroughly entertaining and newsworthy, of course, with the draft, and we'll get into that later. But I do want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and Twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. Thought I had to sneeze there for a second. If you're watching on Twitch, well, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can support the channel by subscribing right here on Twitch as well. You can subscribe one of 2 different ways. You can either subscribe like Broken King Slender did at Tier 1 for 15 months. I so thoroughly appreciate that. 15 months subscribing to Tier 1. But if you say, Tim, I don't have the money to pay you. I pay for a bunch of other subscription services like Amazon Prime. Well, if you have Amazon Prime, then you can turn that into Prime Gaming. All you got to do is link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, and boom, you've got a Prime Gaming account. With Prime Gaming, you sometimes get free games. You sometimes, a lot of times, get free stuff for games like for Fall Guys and Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2, and so forth. But you always get 1 free subscription to any Twitch channel that you want to subscribe to throughout the month, and I'd greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to us right here, Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But if you say I don't got Amazon Prime either, you gotta know somebody that does, whether it's your mommy, your daddy, your auntie, your uncle, your brother, your sister, your cousin, your dog walker, the guy that changed your tires this morning at the Jiffy Lube, the girl that rang you up at Safeway saying, hey, have a great day. You ask them and say, hey, well, you got Amazon Prime? You do? Can I link it to my Twitch account so then I can go and support PW Unlimited? Yeah, that's a thing. We're gonna do it. And who knows? Maybe you meet somebody because of it, because you asked, they said yes, and now you're friends for life. But with that, on the flip side, if you're watching over on YouTube, help us out in the live chat with a super chat or a super sticker donation. Also, remember, you can hit that join button down below, join the Unlimited Army, and become a channel member. As a channel member, you get early access to news, early access to podcasts, early access to non-news videos like the one that went up this morning, and so much more. Plus, the most direct way to support us is by heading over to patreon.com/PW Unlimited. Excuse me. But with that, we've got AEW Rampage to talk about. And Warm Hedgehog, we're not talking video games. If you're going to spam the chat, I'm going to put you in a timeout. I didn't think I'd have to say that, but you do it too often now where I'm just going to say it. People don't want to come to the chat and see all this other random stuff. But with that, we got Rampage, and the show opened up with a banger of a match, with a hell of a match. So it was Bryan Danielson against Nick Jackson, and this was all started after Danielson took on Omega. Danielson took on Omega, the Elite came down to aid Kenny, and randomly, Nick Jackson just booted, super kicked, I can't remember exactly which one it was, Danielson in the face. Then this week, Danielson tried to get another match with Omega. Omega said no. He then said, I'll face anybody in the Elite, and they set it up for Nick Jackson. Jackson worked a side headlock early and took Danielson down with a shoulder tackle. Jackson taunted Danielson by jumping to the floor and fooling around with cold spray and Brandon Cutler also. I may be one of the onlys to really recognize this or really care about this. And no, I'm not a fan of BTE, but Brandon Cutler didn't have the camera. Didn't have the camera out there with him. So nothing from this match seemingly will be featured on BTE. Warm Hedgehog. Of course, there's not going to be any sign of Bray Wyatt because, well, he can't sign with the company until November. He cannot show up to AEW till at least November 10th. And I've said that multiple times. So for you to keep coming in here every week and go, well, they didn't tease Bray. They didn't tease. Well, no shit. They didn't tease Bray because legally they can't. Legally, he cannot show up. God. It's like people don't listen. Anyways, he fooled around too much with the cold spray and Cutler, so Danielson hit him with a dive through the ropes. Back in the ring, Danielson hit a shotgun dropkick off the top and crawled away at Jackson's face. He then yelled, I got 5. Trying to do the submission and all that. And he's telling the referee, hey, I can go till 5. I can go till 5. He then put him in a Dragon Sleeper. Jackson escaped quickly and exchanged forearms with Danielson before flooring the American Dragon with a rebound lariat. After a commercial break, Nick Jackson hit a high knee in the corner and bulldogged Danielson out of that corner. Jackson laid in some heavy kicks at Danielson's chest. He absorbed them all. He's just leaned into the kicks like, hit me, hit me, hit me. Danielson got up and spit in Nick's face. He then battered him with kicks and chops. Danielson hit the flying clothesline and laid into Jackson with heavy kicks to the chest and shoulder while the crowd chanted, yes, 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 yes. There's a big round kick to the head of Nick Jackson to get a close near fall. With Jackson slumped in the corner, Danielson hit 2 running drop kicks. He went for a third, but Jackson nailed him with a super kick for a close near fall. Jackson went for a 450 splash, but Danielson got the knees up and locked in the label lock. Jackson quickly got to the ropes and rolled to the apron. Danielson followed this up and battered Jackson with more kicks over and over and over and over. Jackson at one point, though, hit a super kick and a released German suplex on the apron. Danielson clearly landed right on his shoulder. Jackson followed this up with the Escalara on the floor. Going forward, back in the ring, Jackson locked in the sharpshooter. Danielson escaped the ropes and rolled to the floor. Jackson went for the kick on Danielson, who ducked, and Jackson kicked Cutler in the face, who was up on the apron. At one point, Nick rolled up Danielson and got a 2 off of it, but Danielson came back with a double chicken wing suplex. In a series of elbow smashes on Jackson's chest, Danielson then slapped on the cattle mutilation and got the tap out victory. Very good match here by both men. So after the match, Kenny Omega and Adam Cole ran out to check on Nick. Christian and the Jurassic Express follow. They make sure, the Elite doesn't try any funny business attacking Danielson. And of course, they broke down quickly with Omega running away, Matt Jackson getting a kill switch from Christian, and Cole getting locked in a snare trap by Jungle Boy. Omega ran in to make the save and wound up getting caught in the label lock by Danielson. Both Omega and Cole tapped out to Danielson and Jungle Boy. Good little thing here to promote what's going to happen next week. So next up, with Hook, Powerhouse Hobbs. They cut to Ricky Starks, who cut a promo. This was really good. It was kind of like a car commercial promo about how much better Ricky Starks is and how much he hates Brian Cage. I like this. I thought this was really good, and the way it came off was really great. Then it leads to Ricky Starks coming out and joining commentary because, as I didn't mention, commentary for the first match was only Excalibur and Taz. They stated that Jericho's still out recovering from the attack by America's Top Team, And Mark Henry's just not on commentary anymore. For no offense to the better. Got a CM Punk video here. This was pretty good as well. He said he started to settle into his groove here in All Elite Wrestling and is ready for whatever is next. Ready for the big competition. Ready to take that next step. So I get maybe calling Hobbs not the big competition, but did he really call Darby Allin not big competition? Yikes. Give me 1 second, guys. Next up, we had a triple threat match. It was a triple threat no disqualification match. Jade Cargill, Nyla Rose, and Thunder Rosa. I thought this match was all right for what it was. They aired 5.5 minutes of the match, and from what I heard from the spoilers, it went a little longer. So, clips of Rose and Cargill jumping Rosa from behind before All Out last month. They said that these three have been feuding since before the All Out pay-per-view. And I go, yeah, really? Oh, okay. This is a nothing kind of feud, I guess you could say. And it's just whatever, to be completely honest. Like, there's nothing here special. After Rose power slammed Rosa early on, it seemed like she was out of the match for a little while. Cargill and Rose exchanged forearms in the middle of the ring. Cargill hit Rose with a pump kick and then clotheslined her to the floor. Cargill then turned her attention to Rosa, who flew off the top rope with a shotgun dropkick. The show then went back to break. After the break, there was a trash can in the ring, and Rosa dropkicked Cargill into the ropes. Rosa then gave... I hate spots like this, because literally, Jade Cargill's just sitting there, and Thunder Rosa puts a trash can on her like lap chest area, and you see Jade just like positioning her hand so she's holding it right. And I'm like, yeah, that's realistic. So she holds the trash can gets drop kicked right into her chest, and you can tell Thunder Rosa barely hits the trash can. Jade almost no-sells it in a way, because usually you see like in a hardcore match, someone gets a drop kick to a trash can to their chest or whatever, and they sell it like that kind of. But Jade just sits there, and Thunder Rosa drop kicks the trash can, and she's kind of just like barely flinches. Jade just barely flinches getting a drop kick to the chest through a trash can. Anyways. Where was I? Rosa went for a drop kick in the corner on Rosa and Rose fought on the apron. While there was a table set up at ringside, they told us that Nyla and Vicky set this table up. So Rose set up Rosa for something off the top turnbuckle, but Nyla Rose was reversed. Thunder Rosa slipped out and, I guess you could say, power bombed Nyla through the table. This looked bad, and then Thunder Rosa slips off the apron, falls on top of Nyla, and starts going, yeah, like she's waiting for the damn ref to count. And Excalibur goes, I don't know if she understands and realizes this, but she can only get the pin in the ring. She's got to pick up Nyla Rose and throw her into the ring. And I go, home, she must not at all understand this. She tries to get Nyla Rose up and into the ring with Jade Cargill when hit from behind with a chair. Jade went to town with this chair. Not just hitting her with the chair like you usually see in wrestling, but she's hitting with the chair, and she's hitting with the top brim of the chair. Like, ow. And Taz even said, man, she's hitting her with the top of that chair. That's where it really hurts. And if you watched Road to the Top this week, they've had issues with Jade Cargill being a little reckless and just laying shit in, even though she's not, what's the word I'm looking for, experienced enough to lay shit in. Like when her and Red Velvet were on Britt Baker's long-lived, not anymore talk show, and she did the slap to Red Velvet. Apparently, that hurt Red Velvet legit, to where Red Velvet for like the rest of the night had a big old handprint on her hand, and Brandy had to go to Nyla, or not Nyla, Jade, and be like, hey, you need to calm down. You hit Red Velvet a little too hard, and she took exception to it. And fucking Jade, I don't know if it's supposed to be storyline for Rose to the Top or anything. She goes, we're wrestlers. She got upset because I slapped her, and Brandy's looking at her like, no, you slapped her too hard. Anyways. So Jade's beating the shit out of Thunder Rosa with the steel chair. Eventually hits her move, her finish, and pins Thunder Rosa. Yes, they let Jade Cargill pin Thunder Rosa. So Jade, I think, is now 16-0 or something. Malachi Black cut a promo, just basically in a stairwell, talking about Cody and the Nightmare Family. He said when he spit the black mist in Cody's face, that came from his heart. He's ready to move on and take other souls in this company. Sammy Guevara cut a promo about winning the TNT title. He's already got the black belt, the black strap belt. Miro, the white belt, that was all his thing. I think it's kind of dumb that different wrestlers are getting different special types of the belt. Like, if Sammy doesn't get his own special belt, it's kind of dumb. Very dumb. I think it's kind of stupid anyways to make a special belt, whether it's... Well, no, it's not even that. Because even the side plates were specially made for Miro and stuff like that. I get making special side plates, but then also putting it on a white strap for... I don't know. You're doing too much, Tony Khan. You're doing too much. But if motherfucking Sammy Guevara just comes out here with the same belt that Darby had for weeks and doesn't have his own personal belt, what the hell? Like, what makes Miro so special? I know Miro's very great and all and good, but what makes him so special that he gets his own version of the TNT title, but Sammy Guevara may not? We don't know yet, because all the promotional pictures so far just have Sammy with the regular black strap belt, so we'll see. But basically, Sammy said that he's the TNT champion. We all know who the greatest TNT champion is, but now he's here. He's here to live up to those expectations. We got a announcement according to the ladder match. So next week on Dynamite is the Casino ladder match. And they noted at this point of the show, Pac, Moxley, Andrade, Archer, all in the ladder match. They said by the end of the show, 2 more names will be announced. So it's going to be these 4, 2 more, and the Joker, which we'll just say right now. The other 2, which was kind of expected, and why didn't you announce it before? Kind of stupid they didn't announce it here. It's Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy. They're both in the ladder match as well. So then we get the face-to-face deal. Mark Henry moderating, talking about how this was just god-awful. This is grade A why I don't like the Orange Cassidy character. I think he is a great pro wrestler, but this is top tier why I don't like the Orange Cassidy character. Mark Henry's like, gentlemen, this upcoming main event tonight on Rampage, it is Orange Cassidy against Jack Evans in a hair versus hair match. And he's like, I know Jack Evans, when this match was announced, you didn't look too happy. Orange, what do you think of this being a hair versus hair match? And Orange Cassidy literally just goes, what is this? What am I doing? It's hair versus hair? Well, I guess that means I can't lose, does it? And I go, excuse me? You're going to be in a hair versus hair match and not know till the moment you go out there that your hair's on the line, buddy boy? Again, it's the shit like this that makes me not like the Orange Cassidy character. And before he walks off, he's just like, oh, I guess I'm not going to lose then. And I'm like, stupid. Very fucking stupid. Again, kind of why I don't like the Orange Cassidy character. I think he's a great pro wrestler. Nothing against him in that. But it's the character I just don't like. It was starting to grow on me a little because he was getting away from the small kick, slap, slap, you know. He was starting to kind of get away from that stuff. But then the promo tonight is just stupid. But the match itself was all right. I didn't even think the match itself was all that great, but both men worked really hard together. So both men are coming down to the ring. They said Jack Evans used to wrestle in Mexico and has put his hair on the line many times and always was successful. Taz goes, well, that right there, that stat right there makes me want to put my money on Jack Evans. And I go, Taz, you're a dummy. Orange Cassidy tossed Evans around by the hair, and Hardy pulled Cassidy out of the ring and hit him with a right hand. Just right in front of the fucking ref, too. Evans followed us up with the 450 on the floor, and we go to picture-in-picture. Back from the break, Cassidy dodged a handspring elbow from Evans and hit a pair of planchas on both ends of the ring. One on Evans and one on Hardy. Cassidy went for the spinning DDT, but Evans countered right into a Northern Lights suplex and transitioned into a Michinoku driver for a near fall. There's a standing sky twister from Evans to get another 2. Evans went to the top for a sky twister splash on the top, but he missed. Cassidy then hit a spinning DDT, and then he came off the top rope with a diving DDT for a close near fall. Then, out comes the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. Out come best friends. They come out through the crowd. They block off the ring so the HFO can't run down. And then also out comes the Dark Order. Dark Order, I don't get them. They just throw their fucking business in other people's business. They always just like to get involved in other people's shit. But they come out here to help as well. The HFO retreat after, well, Orange Cassidy hits the orange punch and pins Jack Evans. Best friends prepare to give Evans a haircut. Hardy sends Angelico to try to stop it, even though he's the one that made the fucking stipulation. Dark Order disposed of him, and they cut the hair of Jack Evans. They pull the ponytail. They tease, oh, am I going to cut it? Oh, am I going to cut it? Oh, am I going to cut it? Oh, we're cutting the hair. Orange Cassidy cuts it. Wheeler Yuta comes in with the clippers and shaves the head. I think Chucky T actually did some shaving as well. Then they threw Jack out of the ring with a botched ass haircut. So yeah, that was Dynamite. A good show, not a great show. If you missed it, I'd say, okay, you missed it. Maybe you want to go back and watch Jackson versus Danielson. That was a really good match. But even if you missed that, it was just all right. I mean, it wasn't as good as Bryan Danielson versus Kenny Omega. It also wasn't as good as from like 2 years ago, Nick Jackson versus Rey Fenix. But nonetheless, a good show. I mean, there's nothing bad that happened on the show. But if you missed it, you missed it. With that now, I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's AEW Rampage. We do have some polls going right now. As far as the Twitch poll does go, 71% of you thought the show was just all right. Again, that was my sentiment. And 29% of you liked tonight's show. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 56% liked tonight's Rampage, 22% thought it was just all right, and 21% did not like it. And let's see what we got for the YouTube poll. Not the YouTube poll, the Twitter poll. 55% liked tonight's Rampage, 22% thought it was all right, and 22% did not like it. Now with that, a Friday Night Smackdown. Let's throw up a poll for Friday Night Smackdown. New poll. What did you think of tonight's Smackdown? Throw that in here. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't. Nope. I didn't like it. We got that poll going. Get the YouTube poll going as well. Whoops, I just put up a blank poll. Let's try that again. I liked it. It was all right. Ah, damn it. End poll. For some reason, YouTube's not letting me add the third thing here. Let me do it for the Rampage poll. Come on, YouTube. There we go. I liked it. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right, there we go. There we go. Ask the community. Pop that there. Here we go. Friday Night Smackdown. Tonight's Friday Night Smackdown was not only just Friday Night Smackdown, but it was also night one of the WWE Draft. And they kept a lot of things under wraps here. Like, they didn't tell us shit going into this show regarding the draft, other than half of the roster will be drafted tonight, half of the roster will be drafted on Monday. But only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 people were drafted tonight. And that's counting 5 from NXT. So that's not half of the main roster. So following Monday, going to be a lot of fuckers undrafted. Like, we'll talk about this in a little bit, Brock Lesnar. Anyways, Friday Night Smackdown kicks off. Michael Cole and Pat McAfee went over the rules of the draft. Cole noted that new rosters do not go into effect until October 22nd, the night after Crown Jewel. So, we get the draft tonight. We get the second half of the draft on Monday, but you stay on your previous former brands until after the Crown Jewel event. The show opens up with the first round of the draft. It's Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville announces all the SmackDown picks, while Adam Pearce announces all the Raw picks. And Sonya Deville says with the first pick in the WWE draft, SmackDown, and they're taking the Universal Champion, Roman Reigns. Adam Pearce then announces that Raw's first pick will be none other than the WWE Champion, Big E. Going back over to SmackDown, they've drafted the Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. And rounding it all out, the number 4 pick in round 1, Monday Night Raw, takes Bianca Belair. Very interesting that SmackDown. Now, here's the thing. SmackDown picked the Raw Women's Champion. And according to Becky Lynch on Twitter, she stated she's not allowed to be drafted till Monday. So, is she going to get drafted to Raw? And then we do the whole Street Profits New Day thing where they whoop the titles? Probably. Either that or Sasha wins a crown jewel. Because, actually, we've got to mention this too. Before tonight's SmackDown, it was announced that that there will be a triple threat match at Crown Jewel with the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship on the line. It will be Becky Lynch defending against Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. Roman Reigns comes out after the first round of the draft. This is a pretty good opening segment. Universal Champion Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman made their way out to the ring. No Usos. And they recapped Reigns defeating the Demon at Extreme Rules. The fans gave Roman a big reaction. It was a mixed reaction, but more cheers than boos, actually. Roman noted that he is the number 1 draft pick. Not just the number 1 draft pick, but he is number 1. And he demanded that the people in Baltimore acknowledge him. Fans then gave a mixed reaction. Again, mostly cheers. They then broke out into a loud Roman, 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 Roman chant. Yeah. Some boos, but again, mainly cheers. Heyman took the mic, and the fans erupted in boos. Like, what? You're booing Paul Heyman. Heyman briefly talked about Balor before turning his attention to Brock Lesnar. Heyman promised that Reigns is going to smash Lesnar come Crown Jewel. Suddenly, Brock's music hit. Massive pop from the fans here in Baltimore. And Roman was shocked beyond belief. Roman was shocked to see Lesnar come here during the draft, and Lesnar stepped right into the ring and got face-to-face with the Tribal Chief, the Universal Champion. Fans broke out in a loud Suplex City chant. Reigns would attack Lesnar, try to beat him down, but Lesnar would recover and gave Reigns 2 German suplexes. Also, I can't remember the line, but Roman said earlier, Crown Jewel will not be Suplex City because oh man, I wish I would have remembered and wrote down the line because he had a good line about Suplex City. Now I can't remember. Anyways, Usos ran down to try to make the save, but Lesnar beat them down as well. Reigns rolled out of the ring and had another stare down with Brock from outside. Lesnar then demanded that Roman get back in the ring. Reigns teased it and then slipped back out. Lesnar grabbed Jimmy Uso, gave him an F5. He picked up Jey Uso, and Reigns yelled, "Don't hurt him. Leave him alone." Lesnar then gave Jey an F5 and just kept staring right at Roman. Brock Lesnar's so freaking good. And we see Brock's range later on in the show as well. Kayla Braxton interviewed the newest draft pick for Monday Night Raw, the Raw Women's Champion, Charlotte Flair. And Flair goes, "Well, no, you need to put some respect on that. I'm the #1 draft pick in the women's division here in 2021, and I'm coming back Friday Night SmackDown." Kayla asked her some questions, and Flair ignored it and just goes, "Yeah, I'm the #1 overall pick. Bye," and just walks off. And I go, what the fuck was the point of that? Just to let us know that Charlotte is there tonight? So we got an all right match between Corbin and Owens. And before the match, there was a video that basically told us, hey, Riddick Moss is with Corbin, but he's not Riddick Moss anymore. We got Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Like, if we thought we were getting stupid names on NXT, it spilled over to the main roster now. Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. If this isn't some 1991 WWE Superstars bullshit, like, damn. So Owens jumped Corbin before the bell to take the advantage, and Moss yanked him off the apron. Back from a break, as nothing really happened before the break, Owens fought back and rocked Corbin with an enziguri. He followed this up with a tornado DDT and got a near fall off of it. Corbin then countered a stunner attempt and rolled him up for a 2. Owens fought back, but Corbin hit a deep 6 for another near fall. Owens rocked Corbin with some hard chops, and Corbin came around the ring post with a clothesline, but Owens hit him with a super kick. He followed this up with a cannonball in the corner, and Corbin rolled to the floor. They fought on the floor, and Corbin hit an end of days. He then hit the end of days again in the ring to pick up the victory. And apparently, Madcap Moss's whole thing is that he's funny and he tells jokes and he laughs at himself. He laughs at his own jokes. The whole time at ringside, he's laughing hysterically. You know? What the fuck was this? I don't know. There we go. The thing about Roman earlier. Johnson 740 says, Roman Reigns said that he's not going to be taken to Suplex City because he is a suplexorcist. He is a suplexorcist. That's the line. Thank you, Johnson. Thank you. So going forward, they announced that we're getting the King of the Ring tournament and the Queen's Crown tournament. As we reported 2 weeks ago now, and no one wanted to take our report for anything. Tournament starts next week. Next week on SmackDown on October 8th, and then the following Monday on Raw, October 11th. Yes, we had that exclusive report 2 weeks ago on both YouTube and our website. Since Saturday, your guest is as good as mine on what a suplexorcist is. We've got the next round of the draft. Again, Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce making those announcements. Sonya goes up for SmackDown and says that SmackDown is picking Drew McIntyre. Adam Pearce then states that Monday Night Raw is taking the Raw Tag Team Champions, RK Bro. Back over to SmackDown, and they've drafted the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. We'll get back to that in a minute. Monday Night Raw. Well, they've drafted Edge, the rated R superstar. Back to the New Day thing. Even Woods thinks this is stupid. Why don't you draft the New Day as a trio? Get them all for the price of one. Instead of, I don't even know where to start here. We're splitting up the New Day again? They really want that Big E title reign to be that solo run to go big, do they? And so, after SmackDown, Xavier Woods puts up a video on Twitter. On Twitter. I'm not going to play it or anything. But he's like, I got things to talk about. We had the draft tonight. The King of the Ring was announced. Put me in the King of the Ring. But he goes, we were drafted to SmackDown, Kofi and I, but E was drafted to Raw. Why would you draft us separately? He's like, if you don't want us or want Big E, then you draft us all together and then trade us or something. But why not draft us all together? Then you get another draft pick. You save a pick by picking us all together. I go, logic! Which they don't have in this company. Gabriel says thoughts on the Queen's crown name. I think it's all right. It's different. It would have been interesting just to call it Queen of the Ring, especially since they've used that in the video game. But it's whatever. They want something different. Honestly, I heard that there may have been an issue trying to get the Queen of the Ring trademark, and that is why they didn't do it. But I don't know. That was just some hearsay that I heard during tonight's Smackdown. But very weird that New Day is split up again. They've swapped them around. Big E is now part of Raw. Xavier and Kofi, they're over there on SmackDown. Caleb Braxton interviewed Drew McIntyre. And he said it's bittersweet coming back to SmackDown because that's where he started many, many years ago when he came into WWE as the Chosen One. He then grabbed his sword, pointed it at the camera, and basically said, I'm coming for the Universal title. Going forward, Edge came down to the ring to confront Seth Rollins. This is a very, very interesting angle. Edge is out there talking about Rollins and this and that, and all of a sudden Seth shows up on the screen. And Seth is like, Edge, Edge. I see that you showed up this week as per my request, but I still don't hear anything about you wanting to actually face me and when we can actually fight. And you what's the word did he say? You actually saying I'm not really Edge Light, I'm better than you. Well, I'm not there tonight anyways. Look where I am. And there's a sign that says Copeland. You know, Adam's real name. Edge's real name, Adam. His last name is Copeland. Sign in front of the door. Copeland, yes. Seth is at Edge's home in Asheville, North Carolina. So Edge goes inside and he knocks on the door first. And he's like, hey, Beth, you home? No one answers, so he jiggles the handle. Boom, door opens. And I see a lot of people on Twitter, why doesn't Beth Phoenix lock her doors? Well, when you live in the middle of nowhere, you don't feel like you need to lock your doors. Because trust me, where I grew up, near Yosemite National Park in California, if we were just running to the store, like Beth was, because she was going to get groceries, if we were just running to the store, you don't worry about locking your front door. Heck, there'd be weeks, months, days at a time where our front door didn't get locked. We come through the garage, you leave, you pull your car out of the garage, you close the goddamn garage door with the clicker, and you leave. Your front door may still be unlocked. As long as the door's closed, you just leave. When you live in areas like that, basically in the middle of nowhere, where you know all of your neighbors and everybody around, you don't worry about locking your doors. You know, people always go, got to do the door check. Going to bed, lock all the doors. I don't remember one time growing up where everyone went to bed at night and we made sure all the doors were locked. If the door was unlocked or a window was kept crack open, oh well. We knew nothing was going to happen. And that's the same thing here. That's the same thing here. You live out in the middle of nowhere, basically, and you don't worry about stuff like that. So that's why the door was unlocked. Got to give a little logic, because I saw so many people on Twitter going, man, Beth is stupid for leaving her house unlocked. Well, because of where she lives. I've lived in a similar area. You just don't think about shit like that. Anyways, Seth goes inside, and he's looking around, and he opens up the refrigerator, and he finds some orange juice. And Pat McAfee goes, man, Seth giving us a version of MTV Cribs of Edge's house. Vingy says, y'all wild. It's just, when you live in a community that you trust everybody, it's just what it is. It's just what it is. Anyways, he sits down at the kitchen table. He's drinking the orange juice. He sees some stuff up on some artwork up on the wall. And he goes, oh, this is your daughter's artwork? Interesting. And he's, saying other things. He's walking around the house, takes his jacket off at one point. And he goes and sits down in the living room. I guess it's the living room. I don't know. Maybe it's the foyer area. Anyways, he sits down. And he's like, man, he's got an apple in his hand at this point. He's like, this place is nice. You've got a nice house here. I can stay here all night. I can stay here all night. And the way he kept saying all night, I thought they were going to cut back and something was going to happen. And I'm like, cool. We're going to get more seconds to this because this is really good. Like, I loved this. Seth played this really well. All of a sudden, we cut back to the arena and Edge bolts to the back. And I go, fuck are you going? That's an 8-hour drive, Sonny. We come back from commercial and Edge is panicking on the phone. Beth, where are you? Do you have the girls? She's like, don't go home. No, don't go home. Go to your parents' house. No, don't. Seth's there. Don't worry about the groceries. We can get more. Go to your parents' house. Don't go to the house. Seth's there. And then he says the fucking line, I'm calling Daniel and David right now. They'll take care of him. And I bet you most people go, who are Daniel and David? Who are Daniel and David? Well, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to know who Daniel and David actually are? It's FTR. Yes, they basically name dropped FTR on SmackDown tonight. So it's Daniel, and he says, I'm calling Daniel and David. They're heading over right now. Now we know that Edge is really close with both members of FTR, especially Cash Wheeler. And both members, but again, especially Cash Wheeler, really worked hard with Edge when he was training for his comeback. Like, they trained with him in his private gym that WWE helped him set up and everything. But yes, referenced Daniel and David. Daniel, Cash Wheeler. David, Dax Harwood. But what makes this even better, what makes this just so much better, fucking FTR watching SmackDown tonight, because Dax sends out this tweet. I'll go over there right now and beat his little bitch ass. Right? We get that tweet. And then we get this one from Cash of them pulling up in the truck, ready to fight. I knew nothing was going to come of this. We ain't getting FTR on an episode of SmackDown. But for no follow-up at all, I thought that was a little weird because there was just no extra follow-up after this at all. But I bet you a lot of people didn't catch that line. Like they caught the line but didn't understand the line. But for him to be like, don't go home, go to your parents' house. I don't care about the groceries. We can get more. I'm calling Daniel and David. They're heading to the house right now. And it's just, I loved it. I freaking loved it. Unfortunately, nothing can come of it. But we all know how close, especially like I said, with Cash, Edge is. And they all live in that Asheville area. I don't know if they all live in Asheville, but they all live like right outside of Asheville in the same area, close enough to where you say, hey, I need to go check my house real fast, and they can drive over there and be there quick. TJ says FTR name drop on WWE, Bruce Pritchard name drop on AEW. Very similar, yes, except for MJF actually fully said a Bruce Pritchard. If he would have said, if fucking Edge would have said, oh, what was their names in WWE? Oh, now I can't remember all of a sudden. It was Scott Dawson and why can't I remember fucking Cash's WWE name? Wow, this is really... Let me know in the chat. What was Cash's WWE name? It was Scott Dawson, and they've been to FTR for so long that I can't even remember now. Scott Dawson and... What was... Hold on, I'm going to Google this now. Cash Wheeler. What was his WWE name? Because it would have actually been cooler, and more people would have got it if he would have said Dash and Scott, because he was Dash Wilder. That's right. It was Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson. I remember Scott Dawson, but if he would have been like, don't worry, I'm calling Scott and Dash, that would have been a cooler line, because it really would have referenced and people would have picked up on it more probably. But for him to just say, I'm calling David and Daniel, John, his name was Cash Wheeler in WWE. No, his name was not Cash Wheeler in WWE. It was Dash Wilder. Yes, thank you guys for letting me know in the chat. I don't know why I couldn't think of Dash Wilder. It's been so long. Not really. But I thought that would have been the cooler one, if he referenced their WWE names. But just saying Daniel and David, I love the reference there. A lot of people didn't get it, though, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter, oh, these random guys he's calling. Anyways, back to SmackDown. So we get, yet again, Carmela versus Liv Morgan. Oh, boy, howdy. Match didn't actually really end up happening, though. They jump in the ring, they start to fight, and Carmela jumps out. And she goes, girls? And she's like, Liv, you're not going to make my face not pretty. So she puts on this sparkly mask that covers her whole face. Crowd starts chanting, you look stupid. You look stupid. Michael Cole acknowledges the WWE Universe is letting their feelings known to Carmela on how they think she looks. And so she jumps in the ring. She gives an X Factor to Liv Morgan and then walks off. Pulls the mask off. Wore the mask for 30 seconds. What was the fucking point? This was some garbage here. Then we get more draft. Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce are back to announce round 3. In round 3, the first pick of the round 3 goes to SmackDown, and they're taking Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss. Raw are taking the women's tag team champions in Rhea Ripley and Nikki Cross. SmackDown with the big pick here, taking all 4 members of Hit Row: Isaiah Swerve Scott, Ashanti the Adonis, B-Fab, and Top Dollar. So we know you can take all members of a group, then why not fucking take the New Day all together? Just saying. Also, Monday Night Raw concludes round 3 by taking Keith Bearcat Lee. Next up, we get a 10-minute match, which was actually a fun but almost nothing match, to be honest. It was the New Day and the Street Profit against Alpha Academy, Robert Roode, and Dolph Ziggler. Again, the match here was fun. I enjoyed it, but there was no rhyme or reason to it, to be completely honest. Just an 8-man tag, and the baby faces got to shine in the end. Faces had the early advantage as they worked over Ziggler. Montez Ford and Chad Gable went back and forth at one point, and Ford went for a leapfrog, but Gable grabbed his leg and had him into an ankle lock. Ford broke free and ran wild. He rocked the heels off the apron and threw Gable outside. Ford went for a dive, and Otis caught him and dropped him right on the apron. Otis then threw Ford into the barricade. Back from the break, Ford attempted to springboard into the ring, but Gable caught him in a Northern Light suplex for a near fall. The heels isolated Ford and cut him off from their side of the ring. Fans then broke into a "We want the smoke, we want the smoke, we want the smoke, we want the smoke" chant. Angelo Dawkins got the hot tag and ran wild. He had a corkscrew elbow on Roode and gave Gable a suplex. He followed this up with a twisting neck breaker for a near fall. Otis rocked Xavier Woods and hit him with a forearm, but Ford sent him to the floor. Ford then hit a huge dive, wiping out Otis. Kingston caught Ziggler with a clothesline off the ring steps. Roode then hit a spinebuster on Dawkins for a close near fall. The finish then came when Roode went for the glorious DDT, but Dawkins broke free. Woods and Kingston then hit the backstabber foot stomp combo and picked up the victory. Again, this is just really a match for the baby faces to shine as we go into the final round, the first night of the draft. SmackDown gets the first pick in the draft, and Sonya Deville goes, "Oh, well, this isn't my call, but yeah, it's Naomi." Literally just like that. Second, SmackDown with the first pick of round 4. "Oh, yeah, this wasn't my pick." Naomi. Now Pierce looks at her like, "Objective much?" And Pierce goes, "And Raw with their first pick of round 4 are taking the team of the Masked Luchadors, Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio." Naomi then announces that the charismatic enigma is coming to Friday Night SmackDown, Jeff Hardy. And finally, with the final pick of night 1, Monday Night Raw is picked from NXT, Austin Theory. And Pat McAfee goes to put over Austin Theory big after this, saying that that's a great pickup from Raw. Austin Theory's the future. He's a big name and this and that. So, yeah. In the back, Kayla Braxton went to interview Jeff Hardy when Brock Lesnar showed up. And I've been saying for weeks now, just let this guy talk. He is so good. And he was. Brock looks right at the camera. And he's like, so, my good friend Paul Heyman helped me out. And I get to go undrafted. I will be a free agent. And I can do whatever the hell I want. Thanks to my good friend, Paul Heyman. We cut back to the locker room of the Usos and the Tribal Chief. You see the Usos and they look all dejected. And the camera's panning over. You see Jimmy. You see Jay. You see Roman. And then you see Paul with his hands in his face crying. They're all unhappy. And Roman goes, good friend, Paul Heyman, huh? Good friend? And he's like, so what's going on here, Paul? And he's like, I had nothing to do with that. I don't know what's going on with Brock Lesnar. He's like, are we good friends, Paul? He goes, you're my tribal chief. Of course. So what's the problem here? Why weren't the Usos drafted tonight to SmackDown? And he's like, well, it's all part of the plan. It's all part of the business process. They'll be drafted on Monday to SmackDown. And he's like, well, Monday, you better make sure of that. You better make sure of that, Paul. So Heyman leaves. And Roman looks over at the Usos and goes, you guys better get drafted to SmackDown. But if you guys, for some reason, get drafted to Raw, you let all hell break loose or something like that. Like you give them hell or something like that. So they're really pushing the fact that Roman's going to be split from the Usos. The Usos are going to go to Raw, and he's going to... Oh, no, that's what he said. I just remembered. He said, if for some reason you guys get drafted to Raw, leave them all dead. That's what it was. He said, leave them all dead. So they're really pushing that fact that he could be on SmackDown with the Usos on Raw. So we move into our main event. It's a 13-minute match. It's Sasha Banks. It's Bianca Belair. It's a WrestleMania rematch. Before the match, SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch would make her way down to the ring. And I get it, she's supposed to be a heel, but I was a little annoyed with her on commentary, especially the whole yelling at Michael Cole stuff. Yeah, no. Anyways, early on, Banks hit a Hurricane Rana on Belair to get the early advantage. She went for a monkey flip, but Belair landed on her feet. Belair caught Banks and lifted her into a press slam. Belair went for the KOD, but Banks landed on her feet. Belair then rocked Banks with the clothesline and sent her to the floor. After a commercial break, Banks and Belair fought on the top rope. Banks pushed Belair off, but she landed on her feet. Banks then hit a Meteora for a close near fall. Belair fought back and hit a vertical suplex. She followed this up with a handspring moonsault for a 2. Banks recovered and sent Belair headfirst into the turnbuckle. Banks then hit a huge DDT for a close near fall. She followed this up with a frog splash. The move and did a backflip to the floor herself. She almost collided with Becky Lynch at the commentary desk. They got in each other's face and nothing really happened here. Belair then dropped Banks against the barricade and rolled her back into the ring. Belair got in the ring and Lynch grabbed Belair's hair, which allowed Banks to roll her up and pick up the victory. So let me paint the picture for you here. Bianca does the backflip. She goes over, looks at Becky. She goes to jump back into the ring. And as she does, her hair's draped over the rope, so Becky holds the hair down. Sasha grabs her from behind, rolls her up, 1, 2, 3, pinfall victory. After the match, in comes Charlotte Flair. Charlotte attacks Sasha, boot to the face with her fucking heels. She attacks Belair, boot to the face with her fucking heels. Then all of a sudden, Becky realizes who it is. And then earlier in the night, or in this match, they mentioned, hey, Becky, what do you think about Charlotte Flair being drafted to SmackDown? She goes, great. That gives me the opportunity to be 2 belts Banks again. Take that Raw Women's Championship off of her that's still mine that I never lost. So anyways, Charlotte's in the ring. She's posing. Becky's like, oh, I ain't going to be outdone. So she jumps up on the commentary table. She's posing as well. And the show goes off the air. They tell us next week is the premiere of Friday Night Smackdown, and it'll kick off the King of the Ring tournament and the Queen's Crown tournament. But with that, guys, that was Friday Night Smackdown. With that, check the polls and see what you guys thought of tonight's Smackdown. As far as the Twitch poll does go, let me pull this up here. 80% of you liked tonight's Smackdown, with 20% thinking it was just all right. As far as the YouTube poll does go, 78% of you liked tonight's Smackdown, with 14% thinking it was all right, and 8% not liking the show. With the Twitter poll, 48.5% of you liked tonight's show, 39.5% thought it was just all right, and 12% did not like tonight's Smackdown. But with that, guys, I thought both shows were, well, Smackdown leaps and bounds better. Smackdown was a really good show. I thought Rampage was just an average show with a really good opening match. And let's check the text messages now. Actually, no. Yeah. Never mind. We'll check the text messages. I thought I had something else here, but I don't. So this person says, do you see Brock Lesnar winning the Universal title at Crown Jewel? No. Oh, what match are you ready for next week? Who do you want to win the ladder match? And who do you think is the Joker? No clue who the Joker is. Maybe it's Lio Rush. Just saying. As far as who wins it, that's a toughie. That's a very toughie. Like, the only person that's in the match so far that I would care about winning it is Moxley. Now, if Lio Rush is the Joker, I kind of wouldn't want him to win it. I mean, Lio Rush versus Kenny Omega for the title would be a fun match, but you would know the outcome. Because I think SmackDown did okay tonight, but who should challenge for the IC Championship and the SmackDown Tag Team Championships? SmackDown Tag Team titles are going to be American Alpha. Well, Alpha Academy. Whereas the IC title, Jeff Hardy maybe? Jeff Hardy Nakamura. Give it to me now. It says, I liked SmackDown tonight, but if you pick who might be in the King and Queen tournament, I don't know. You can kind of look at who was in the commercial and maybe try to tell, but that's a tough one. Very tough, because we don't know exactly the format. I believe the format is going to be 4 people from Raw, 4 people from SmackDown. It says, who do you see coming out on top as the SmackDown Women's Champion at Crown Jewel? Probably Sasha. Well, no. Becky. Thinking about it now. Was Charlotte on SmackDown? Becky. Saying the draft does take effect until after Crown Jewel, but yeah, having the New Day wrestle on the same show really doesn't make sense. No, it does. It does. Because what we're supposed to think, because then that's saying, why was Drew McIntyre there? Why was Jeff Hardy there if they're not SmackDown wrestlers or before this? Because, and Xavier Woods mentioned this in his Twitter video, the reason they were there at SmackDown was because of the draft, and they didn't know anything going into the day, so they didn't even know that the draft was going into effect later and not today. So he's like, hey, we all had to be here because we had no knowledge of what was going on with this draft. So that's why. They were there, so they said, screw it, let's put them in a match. And it says, Pat McAfee's accent always kills me, and Roman Reigns being outright pissed is great for TV. Oh, yeah. Roman Reigns was phenomenal. It says, with the segment and comment made by Reigns, where do you see the Usos going and what happens to Paul? I'm curious your thoughts. I think there's a very, very good chance Usos go to Raw. Like 60-40. 60 they go to Raw. As far as Paul Heyman, I don't know at all. I really don't know. I think he's loyal to Roman, and Brock is doing all the my good friend Paul Heyman to throw Roman off of his game. It says, are WWE finished with Finn Balor, the Demon? I don't know. He wasn't on the show tonight. He wasn't drafted yet, so I don't know what they're doing with that. Finally, the last text message here says, so somebody's definitely turning on the other regarding the Mysterios instead of being split in the draft. Well, that was what I always thought they would do. I didn't want to see them split in the draft. I wanted to see some sort of return of Dominic finally getting fed up with his dad saying, hey, you don't let me be me. You don't let me learn on my own, even though you tell me to go learn on my own. and then he turns on his dad. I think that's what might happen. But with that, guys, I want to say thank you for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited, YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited, Twitter.com/PWU Unlimited. With that, guys, we will be live again on Monday to talk about Monday Night Raw. So with that, follow us on Facebook, Facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD. Follow us on, Instagram by searching for Pro Wrestling Unlimited, and have a great weekend. Have a great Saturday. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one, guys.